Please make it loud for Josh Johnson!
I feel very thankful to be here with all of you because it's nice to talk to people who are gonna get it in a way. I feel like sometimes when I'm traveling and I go to places where, especially when I go overseas, and there are places that are not as engaged or involved with American politics, that there's a sentiment of like we're just watching the show and y'all are like cast in the show, and so that it's very different to have a chat with you. Because I'll be very honest with you, it's been taking me a long time to distill the way I feel about what is happening in LA. Because what's happening in LA over the past couple weeks is it's insane to watch, because I have plenty of friends in LA and I talk to them daily and everything. And I also watch the news, and not maybe since COVID have I seen such distant realities. Do you know what I mean? Like such like completely opposite ends of the spectrum, what is happening and what is said about what's happening. And okay, because if you're watching the news, everyone in LA is dead. They've been dead for a while. The military came, but they were too late. Everyone is, in fact, I think the military dead too. Like it's really just a black hole of death that no one can stop, but somehow the reporters are reporting. And it is strange, because when they send the reporter out to cover what some people are even calling the riots in LA, the reporter, not every single one of them, I'll get to them, but the reporter is standing there while everybody else is standing there. And they're giving a very different report than what we can see behind them. A lot of people don't know this about me, but from the time that I was a child, because I grew up in Louisiana, my family and all the families around me were all affected by Hurricane Katrina. So I have very, very strong feelings about protecting journalists, protecting reporters, and not putting them out there with the weather. Because we see it. We see the weather, and I believe you every time. Whenever you say it's a hurricane, and I look outside, I'm like, that look hurricane-like. I don't then need you to send our local newscaster to hold on to a telephone pole while he tells us how bad it is. The way that these people will almost be horizontal reporting on the wind speed, it's like we don't need them as a visual test of what is happening right now. Everyone watching is inside. There's no one watching from outside like, yeah, seems like I should probably move from where I am now. No, I hate that. I hate when it's like weather is one of those things where I'm like, I don't know what the spin could be. Like to a certain degree, I understand when a journalist, when a newscaster feels the need to go. What this shows right now is how many of y'all don't put your phone on silent. Like there's no... No, I know it is. That's crazy. Well then I will be quick then. Yeah. Okay, real quick. Just for a quick second. What flash flood? Oh no, the parade. Y'all. Don't do that. It's his birthday. It's not my birthday. But a great example, like a flash flood, and they'll put the newscaster in the water, and it's like, well, what we can see here, John, is... It's another level of insane, because when it comes to the news and the weather, I don't know what the spin could be. There's a storm outside. No, it's not. Weather, as long as you're not talking about specifically climate change, is like the last bipartisan subject. It's like the last thing. There's no way that anyone hates, conservatives or liberals enough to see the rain and be like, but it's not. Like that just doesn't happen. It's one of the last tethers to reality, and we make those newscasters go in it. These poor newscasters in Arizona look like they about to pass out. Half the reports they do talking about the heat. They got them over there, no shade. You can tell the budget of a newsroom by how they send the journalists out there, because sometimes they'll be out there and be like, blistering heat today in downtown Phoenix, temperatures reaching 111 degrees. Like, stop doing it, If it's hot, we can feel it, and when you tell us, we'll believe you, If it's a hurricane, this is one of the things that I have tried my best to be fair with, because you see people, and I really feel like this only happens here. There's no other country I know of where people proudly go out into the hurricane and like tap dance in the hurricane to show the rain that they're not scared. That's a distinctly American male thing to do, to be like, hey, ain't nobody scared of some water? Come and get me, and they're never seen again. I'm just saying, you don't really see that anywhere else. And I used to think that those were like the dumbest people in the world. But then as I got older, I was like, you know what? Maybe they just watched the news. And they were like, he's standing out there, and he telling me not to go outside. It's too dangerous, but he outside. What, he think I'm a punk? If he can be outside, I'll be outside. I'll be outside all I want. And then they go outside, and then they're never seen again. But the thing with people covering LA and standing in front of whether it's LAPD or National Guard lined up and protesters a distance away lined up. It's a very different thing because now they're coloring it for you, but you can see behind them. And it's hard to know what to make of it. Because when I talk to my friends in LA, they're like, very chill. They're always chill, but like they're very chill in this specific instance. I called some of my friends because I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not better than anybody. I fell for some of like the propaganda that was going on. I called some of my friends immediately because I don't know LA neighborhoods that well. And I live in New York where if something is happening, it is happening to everyone. Thoroughly happening to everyone right now. And so, okay, I'm digressing for a second, but just as an example, one time there was all I can describe it as is like a tiny tornado of trash. It literally was not taller than this mic stand, but it was spinning because it was a windy day out and the trash wanted to be together, I guess. And so the trash spinning. And it's like, I don't know, I grew up like, deep south and everything. So whenever I see one of those, I'm like, ooh, that's a bad spirit. Like that's I get real superstitious real quick. If you a tiny tornado, if you an eye level tornado, I don't come near you, all right? That's a bad spirit. You got Dorito bags in you and everything. You got all types of disgusting stuff. No, I might get possessed. And so I was keeping my distance, but there were other people walking down the street. I actually crossed the street because I saw it up ahead. I was like, nah, I don't need those problems. Like, I like having my whole body, mind, and soul. I don't want some of it to be like Derek from 81st. You know what I mean? Like, that feel like who would possess you? Just somebody who like never had a job and burps as loud as possible. And so I crossed the street, but there were other people that were walking next to me that kept going, and they walked right into it. And even though I was across the street, I knew when they walked into it because my back was turned, and I still heard, I'm like, not walking into a Thai tornado with your mouth open. That's just irresponsible. And sure enough, that Thai tornado got like 8 people. Just being itself. If something happens in New York, it's happening to everybody. If one train is down, the city stops. We get around it, people get mad, they get off the train, they run to work, they hop on a bike or whatever, they take a cab. But like, one thing happens, it has a ripple effect. LA doesn't seem like that to me. Like I've been in different parts of LA and I thought all of it was like one thing. I couldn't have been more wrong. And so I was calling my friends, I was freaking out because I was seeing the stuff that was happening. Waymos. You know the driverless car that shouldn't exist? You know that thing that's just on the road and we all act like it's normal, but we're slowly acting out the plot of iRobot currently? You know that thing? Those were on fire. There were Waymos on fire. So I called my friends like, you not in a Waymo, are you? Oh, if you in a Waymo, get out right now. Because to be fair, we didn't really even know why the Waymos were on fire. Maybe there were people setting the Waymos on fire, but maybe the Waymos saw all the unrest and they were like, this is our time. One time I was with my friend in San Francisco and a Waymo passed by and he was admittedly very high. But he doesn't trust Waymos because the first time he ever took a Waymo was by accident because he lost his wallet, his phone, like he got all his stuff stolen, right? And so he asked a friend to get him a ride home, okay? So he gets the friend to get him a ride home. He doesn't know that friend used the app Waymo instead of like Uber or whatever. So then he's high in the story too. He's actually high all the time, but he gets into the car and he's like, you know, a little fade, a little drunk, a little high. And then he gets in the car and then the car takes off. And so the way he told the story, I wasn't there. The way he told the story is finally he asked, you know, for a little music. He's like, dang, it's quiet in here, dog. Can you turn something on? And he half nodding off anyway, but he's like, can you turn something on? It's quiet in here, dog. Like, let's get it popping, you know. Can I get some? It doesn't matter what it is. Whatever you like, dog. Can anything. Yo, I know you hear me talking to you. And then he said he leaned forward. This is how he tells the story. He leaned forward and saw nobody was in there, and then he started praying because he was like, "No, you know what? You know what? You know what, Lord? You know I haven't been right. I haven't been right. And if you see me through this, I swear I'm gonna change my ways. If you see me through this right now, if you deliver me through, I'm gonna leave the alcohol alone. I'm gonna leave the weeds. He gets home, he sees his house, he's like, thank you, Lord, thank you. And obviously he was lying because he was high when he was next to me. But a Waymo passed by and he was like, that thing right there, nobody gonna believe me when I tell you, but that thing right there, I don't trust those things, all right? Let me tell you something right now. That thing over there, all AI, all self-driving intelligence stuff, don't trust that thing. Believe me, that's a transformer. Look, all I'm saying, if I wanted to act out the plot of one of the Transformer movies, what would I do? I'd come down to earth as a bunch of driverless cars, keep it easy for a little while, and then one day, boom. Don't get in there. Don't get in one of them, you're gonna end up in its chest. I'm telling you right now. And so I called so many of my friends. I was like, hey, are you okay? Are you good? And they were like, yeah, no, I'm fine. And they said they were fine with the annoyance of like, they said that they were fine with the annoyance that I have when my mom calls me to ask me if I'm okay. She saw that there was a storm in New York, and I'm like, no, it was just a bunch of trash spinning in a circle. It's not that serious. You worry too much. No, they were genuinely like, no, that's actually here. And they started explaining LA neighborhoods to me, and I'm not gonna lie, I glazed over. Like I just... But once I knew that they were safe and that everyone I knew was safe, I was like, well, then where is this happening? I know a lot of people in LA. I've called a lot of people. Everybody is fine. Where is this happening? It turns out it's all happening over like, I think 2 square blocks. I don't even know. It's like, it's such a small area. It might as well be a movie set. And it's crazy because if you listen to, you know, Fox News, some of these outlets, you would think that the entire city was burning right now. There are people sharing stories on Facebook, and the entire place is devastated. And the president said, if I didn't send the National Guard, they'd be in shambles right now. But then when you look at video, and I'm not talking about video from protesters, I'm not talking about video of bystanders of the protest. I'm talking about video of people in Los Angeles 2 blocks away from the protest. There are people literally blowing bubbles. And there is no opposite to your city being on fire than bubbles. Bubbles are like a truly first world problem. Like, and they weren't even blowing bubbles regular. They were over here like, once you do it with your foot in the air, that's too much whimsy for your city to be on fire. Not blowing bubbles like, blah, blah, blah. Look at that. That's so cool. I'm talking about, And it is difficult when it's presented in front of you so heavily, an agenda with reporting versus just saying what happened. I didn't even know you could do that, by the way. It wasn't until I left the country and watched the news in other countries that you can just say what happened. Like when you watch the news in Spain, they don't even put a spin on it. They're just like, yeah, right there. They don't even try. This is what's crazy, is that the news around the world, they don't even try to be entertaining. They give it to you so straight, they don't even have good voices half the time. Sometimes there's a guy being like, yes, 2 people were found in the basement, and they said that they were trapped there by the man who lived there. Very dry, nothing. They're not putting on 2 people found dead. Like, it's... That's my favorite, by the way. I love when an anchor is like going out of a fun story to a sad story, but either they didn't get the stack of reports ahead of time, or they're just reading the prompter in real time, so they don't know that they need to do the tone shift. And so they just finished like promoting a shelter that has saved like 67 puppies or something. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that sweet? I mean, you just love to see stuff like that, don't you? Anyway, 15 burned to death in a fire. Oh. And then you see in their eyes that they're like, I already started high. I started up here if I drop it. Now, and sometimes they try to drop it. They're like, found dead this morning. Don't act like you weren't talking the whole time. That was you the whole time. But you even see it in LA, because the misconception people have is that the thing that initially happened in LA versus like protesters and ICE and everything was like all over LA, was just all happening at one time, when actually it's around these very few square blocks. That's where all of it's like going down. You know, I'm not saying there weren't protests in other places, but those protests went on without incident. It's here. This is like the main sticking point. And this is what they keep shooting footage of over and over and over again, and showing you over and over and over again from different angles, right? And they're so thirsty for it that there was one dude that had a Mexican flag, was on a smashed up car, and you can see when you look at the picture that there are like 15 cameras surrounding the car looking up at him, and then everyone protesting is like a block down with nobody there. You know, because they're selling you a story. They're selling you a story about chaos that's unfolding and everything. And they even, you know, will have the newscaster out there. This journalist is out there. And I have a lot of respect for journalists. They do an incredibly difficult job, and they have to do it under constraints that some of us can't understand. Because if you worked your entire life to try to get to the truth, and then you finally get a job, maybe it's not even a well-paying job, and you're allowed to tell the truth until like your newspaper gets bought. And then it gets bought by a guy that's like, the truth though. I mean, what is truth really? Just say whatever I tell you to say. But it is a difficult thing to distill for yourself, because you have to. You can't just, I'm not saying that there was ever some golden age where all of media was honest and forthright. I'm just saying that it used to be a little bit more simple. That you were even overdoing it if you checked, 3 sources to see if something was true. Because there are things that used to be delivered with a little bit less. You still have the bias of the outlet, but it was a little less political at all times, and there was a little less looking for the bleed. Here's what happened, and I said it in a sexy voice. That used to be American news. You know? And now we've slowly become this more and more and more like corporate warped version of trying to do the news. News became entertainment. It became a show. And you know there's a show, you know it's entertainment because they're not delivering you the news out of the kindness of their hearts. I'm not saying that the journalists that are doing the news aren't dedicated. I'm saying that the body, the system and the machine that we look to for reporting is just, they're trying to sell razors in between every disaster. Like that should tell you something, you know? Because you see the report, and you see people, chaos in the streets in LA. Look at everything that's happening. And then you like talk to someone who's in LA, or you even just look at an Instagram story that your friend made on a random day who's not that far from the protest. And you're like, I don't know, they are loading up their car with Trader Joe's. Like that doesn't feel apocalyptic at all. Like if you can get the sliced mango from Trader Joe's, I think the supply chain is intact. That's one of the first things to go. We don't even have mangoes like that. Oh, news says absolute chaos. And then you look at somebody's, just like legit, somebody's like TikTok that they're making. Not even about the protest, just that they're making. And you know they live in LA. And while they're making this protest, while supposedly the city is on fire, they're finding parking. That's not supposed to happen ever. And one thing that can't be lost on us when we think about or talk about Donald Trump is the only thing that he's ever been successful in is reality TV. We don't know him from the steaks. We don't know him from the casinos. We don't know him from the vodka or the water, which was probably vodka. We don't know him from anything except truly reality TV. Even in real estate, it's like, okay, it's like a name, but I don't know anyone who ever lived on one of those properties. You know, it's the TV. He figured it out. He figured out reality TV, and he's still doing reality TV. He's just doing it as the president. The mix of reality and TV is a different cocktail for every show. You know, there are shows that are 10% reality and 90% TV, where if you took away the TV element, none of these things would happen. These people wouldn't know each other. And then there's some that are 50-50. Like, I feel like Love Island is 50-50. You know what I mean? Love Island to me is, because look, even if there was no show, these are the people who would be hooking up with these people. Like this is every time you watch a cast introduced of Love Island, you're like, that seems right. Like that's who everyone goes for that's in that group anyway. They all seem happy. There's never like a guy in Love Island that's like, so ladies. Just floating like an NPC. Like, it's always somebody with like 9 abs. And you're like, how do you get the extra? When he's standing up, when he's sitting down, it's very defined. You know, it's shows that are even mostly reality with a little hint of TV, just a little bit of producing to make sure it's polished enough for the people so that they can consume it and not be thinking about how they're on like a 5th episode of it, you know? And that's where Trump comes from. He comes from reality TV. It's the only thing that he's ever been really, really good at making. And that's what he's doing right now, reality TV instead of governing. Because if he were governing and he really wanted to be smart about it, this dude would do what he does best. He'd just lie. Think about this. This man lies about everything. And this immigration thing is the only thing he's like actually tried to do. It's very weird. Like, I just, it's a long walk, but stick with me for a second. As presidents go, most deportations have been going down. They were, I think, at least in recent memory, they were the last highest under Obama, but Obama did them all through the courts and everything. It wasn't just like a rounding up type of thing. And so then Biden had less, Trump even had less in his first term than Obama. And then now, Trump, right now, even with the show, has less than he had the first time. And it's weird to me because in the campaign, we were promised that there were millions. There were millions of illegal immigrant criminals. They were behind you. Have you checked your pants? They're in there too. They're under your bed. They're everywhere. You can't throw a constitution without hitting an illegal criminal alien. We were told that there were millions of them in the country. Yet somehow, when ICE really starts ramping up, because we're really doing this thing, it takes like a week before they were like, have you tried a school? Like, I don't know. Yeah, I can't find any. That's crazy. We got a couple that first week, but yeah, I guess there were only like 3,500 or whatever. I guess we're just gonna have to start going everywhere, and that's what they did. That's why. That's why it is the way it is, because ICE is over here trying to do these deportations, trying to grab people and everything, but I thought there were millions of illegal criminal aliens. Why are you finding them all at work? Like, I just had no idea that my local taco spot was specifically MS-13 Tacos. I had no idea that Tra de la Ringa, the gang I can't pronounce, I had no idea that that's who was like folding the clothes at Kohl's. Like, that's... Because that's what you've been led to believe. Every arrest is warranted. ICE is trying to do their job. All of this mandated makes sense. That's what you've been told. And the thing is, you need to make a show out of it, because even with all the chaos, even with all the footage, it's still less. That's crazy. Even with you going around the court, it's less. That's wild. That it's still less, even with all of this show going on. Because what isn't a show, what's actually reality, is that people are being ripped away from their families. And these are hardworking people. These are people that have been here for a long time. These are a lot of people who are actually trying to do the right thing as hard as they possibly can. But the system is slow and it's imperfect. And then they get arrested by ICE at the courthouse for their hearing. And all of this when Trump could have just lied. He could have just been like, yeah, I did it. Who would say he didn't? All of his fans would be like, he did it. He said he was going to do it, and he did. I don't even know when he did. That was so fast. Damn. Even Democrats would be like, yay, you did it. At least... the one time he doesn't lie. And so you have this ICE operation happening on these square blocks, these protesters clashing with ICE. ICE doesn't feel safe. They don't feel like they can make movements and everything. And so then, the LAPD comes, and maybe the LAPD was there the entire time. I don't know. But the LAPD is there, and Trump sends in the National Guard. Now, he can't send in the National Guard just to arrest people and crack skulls and everything like that. So what he does, he tries to get around it by deploying the National Guard just to protect these two buildings. But then they're there in case ICE feels like they need their help detaining someone or that they aren't able to carry out their operations, right? So dangerous precedent, but whatever. So then Trump wants to send in the National Guard, which everybody, not every single person, but most people were upset about, because the LAPD, in case you're not aware, from TV, from movies, or just from history, historically loves to whoop ass. That is their favorite thing. The LAPD can't stop whooping ass. They love, it's their number one. And so when the LAPD found out the National Guard was coming, I know they were probably like, but. I didn't even get to. No, go ahead, send him. Yeah. No, you know what's best, send him in. No, you wanna do it. And then the National Guard comes, and there's not a ton for them to do, because it's like 2 square blocks. No matter how many times they keep showing you the same footage over and over and over again of these things burning, of this like 3 stores that got looted. They show you the same thing over and over, but it's just not happening that way. And it's not that spread out. People are finding parking in Los Angeles. And so the National Guard gets there and they're like, all right, yeah, that, okay. All right, so there's nothing to do, and you deployed us without making sure we had a place to sleep. So then they're all on the floor. They're sleeping on the concrete with nothing to do, and everybody's mad now because National Guard isn't getting paid what the LAPD is getting paid, so now the LAPD can't whoop ass. National Guard here for no reason. And then Trump is like, send the Marines then. I know if you're in the LAPD, you're like, the Marines? National Guard had to be like, the Marines? Even the Marines had to be like, the Marines? And the LAPD just sitting there like, I just want... Is whooping a little ass too much to ask? But I know that it's very, very, very important to understand what's reality and what's TV, and not to confuse the two. And the way to combat reality TV being everywhere all the time is real connection with real people. I was able to call people or text people who were in LA that told me, no, I mean, there was parking at Trader Joe's. Everything actually pretty chill. And without that, I might honestly be like, I don't know, y'all. There were 3 Waymos on fire. I took it as a lesson. And I would hope that more people see the things that were happening in LA and make sure that outside of any news outlet you follow, outside of like any narrative that you make the choice to believe, because there are so many varying narratives for every event that you do have to make choices, that above all of those things, you will talk to people. Because talking to people is the real perspective that you need. When you talk to someone who's really going through the thing, no matter what it is, no matter what it is, even bigger than LA, even bigger than the protests, when you talk to someone, you finally get from their perspective right to the root of an issue, as opposed to whoever's talking over them. Oh, and I think that for me, talking to my friends, making sure that they were safe, let me know that this thing was not what it was being made out to be. Don't get me wrong. I think that something was starting in LA, and I think that thing is scary. I think that there's a push to make authoritarian moves and to see how far things can be bent and how much people can be pushed and pulled before they'll do anything about it. And I think that LA was a perfect test for that. Let's take something that's really just 2 blocks and let's make it look like it's the entire city, and we'll see if they believe us. Let's send in all the cops we have, then the National Guard, then the Marines, and see how much people want that, if they go for it or not. So something is happening, and I would encourage every single one of you to hold on to everyone that you know. DC is one of those places where everybody is from everywhere and everyone knows everyone everywhere else. And if you keep that type of global community together, you'll have no problem in my opinion at least, distinguishing what's happening from what's not. Because you'll have people that you can talk to, people that are really going through the thing in real time. I'm not saying don't watch the news at all. Sometimes they have newscasters on there who they put in the hurricane. It's very entertaining. Yo, DC, y'all been fantastic. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all.
Give it up for Josh Johnson!
I have a hard time sometimes checking back in with someone who I haven't talked to in a long time. There are some people that you can pick up where you left off perfectly. Like, perfectly. Like, even when you call them, you're like, as I was saying. It's been 4 years, but you remember where you left off. And then there's other people where it's like you got to find your footing again. You know? And it's really difficult, at least in the way that we've structured things right now, for men to have very close, intimate friendships with other men. And it's tough because people talk about this epidemic of male loneliness. I'd like to get to the bottom of why men are lonely, because there are men everywhere. It's kind of crazy that there's millions of men and they're all lonely. It seems like they should meet the men that are also lonely. It's a lot of men to be lonely. Imagine 100 million people feel by themselves. Seems fixable. One would hope. But some of it is just like the way that men make friends. There are very few, especially you're talking about your intimate, your strong friendships. There's very few categories and very few ways to go down that road with another man. It's usually one of a few things. Your best friend as a man is usually one related to you, maybe. That's my brother. Didn't even need to make a friend. My parents made him for me. So we sort of rolled together since we were little because, you know, he was right there. So how you gonna not? That's like when people like hate their brothers, I'm like, oh, he must have put some work in then, because by default, y'all should have been at least chilling. And then there are men who become intense friends through a shared trauma, like a war buddy. Like you may not have even been compatible in the outside world, but you went through something that was so distinct to your experience that the only other person that gets it covers so much ground for you that now y'all can be best friends because you went through this thing together. And then the third way is kind of like the brother thing. You just known each other for a long time. I mean, we took civics class together, and that was that. I don't get out much. And even within your friendship, because this is the thing about real loneliness. You don't have to have no friends to be lonely. You can be lonely within the relationships that you have. It's about letting people in, and it's hard as guys for us to really let someone in because there's a thing that we're battling all the time. Some of it's social, some of it's like learned, it's conditioned, and then some of it is not knowing how to express the stuff that's inside. So you're in a really tense place as a guy sometimes, and any little thing can knock you off of a good track you have with a friend. Like a hug.
It's a dangerous thing. Hugging as a man. Going in too quick. Looking a little thirsty. We gotta be really specific about our hugs as men, you know? It's on the top of mind, even if you don't think it is. It's surface level, but it's top of mind. You get a weird hug from a friend, it could change your whole relationship. You know? And most of it is like learned over time. As a baseline, you're good to go, right? Especially if you go in for that one palm first, boom, right here, bring it in, very manly. You know, bow, bow, you know, you bang shoulders together. Whoever shoulder breaks first loses. That's my boy, bow, bow, right? You want to make it extra painful, you go in with the other hand. Bow, bow, bow. I remember one time I went in, you know, hugged my buddy, hands out, bow. Good loud clap too, real manly stuff. People that we didn't know heard that pop from across the room. Pow! Went in for the hug, boom. Messed up both our shoulders. And if I'm being honest, it all went awry at the end because I don't know where his mind was at. But, you know, he went to, you know, close it off, last hand on the back. But for some reason, it was a little low, like. Just so you understand what I went through. We were going in for the hug, bow. I bring it in, bow. He comes around. Mid-hug, I'm like, sir. He immediately like, yeah, my bad, dog. I didn't mean to, yeah, no, it was great, you know, wind. And depend on who you are and who it happens with could knock the whole friendship out of whack forever. That's how delicate it is. Oh. And it's tough sometimes, tough to make friends as a man. Like even if you really rock with somebody, you really respect them, you really admire them, and you might even tell them so, but you don't know how to cross over that next level to really be a friend. You know? And because it's not often communicated, a lot of men don't know they have friends. You have people that you're cool with. But then, if somebody asks them and somebody asks you, you're both like, yeah, I guess we're friends. I mean, yeah, like, he cool. Like, what'd he say about me? Like, no, like, he cool. Like, I mean, like, I like Buddy. Like, he cool and everything. And I'm sure he think I'm cool. But, like, I think we're friends. But it's also cool if we not. Like, if we're not friends at all. Like, I don't care. We could be enemies for all I care. Like, let's get it. Oh, it's true. And then, you know, sometimes you don't realize how hard it is to make friends until you look around and you're like, oh, I don't feel like I have many. It's a thing that can happen subtly. You know, it's not something that comes all at once. You look around and you're like, oh, who would I really call if I was in trouble? Maybe just a few people, maybe genuinely. There's no one you feel comfortable making that call to, you know? And so you want to make friends, but it's tough to go out there and try to make friends as a man sometimes. And it doesn't have to be, but just think about it. Like, dudes always act like they don't know what they mean when a woman is like freaked out by a guy coming on too strong, but let a man just try to be your friend. As a man, walk up to another man and be like, I like your jeans. See how it goes. I'm sure it'll be fantastic. You know what I mean? But that's my thing. That's my thing, is that we're in a place now where, for the most part, it doesn't have to be this hard. We have online friendships. We have friendships that we can make in person. There's no reason for people to feel lonely. And women try to help. They do. You ever had your girlfriend try to make you some friends? It's one of the most demoralizing. It's one thing when you little. When you're like a little kid and you're weird. Like, I was weird and I was a little kid and my mom was like, let me get him some help. Let me find some other weirdos. They can be weird together. It becomes very different when you're like 30. And someone who has made the choice to love you slowly starts trying to set you up with just any other man, so you have someone to talk to besides her. Which is just like so fundamentally what it is. Like, it's just sadly a woman who's like, I can't hear everything. Some of this gotta be for the locker room, please. Men are out here so lonely. We got women trying to set us up for locker room talk just so it won't be talked to them for like an hour. And getting set up on like a boyfriend play date is one of the saddest experiences, because as men, you both know why you there. You both sitting here now, knowing why you here, and both y'all acting too good for each other. Like, both y'all sit here like, yeah, you know, the game was crazy last week. I got friends, just so you know. Like, I don't even know why she doing this. Like, yeah, I got people to talk to. And then buddy over here is like, yeah, you know, sports. Yes, the team is doing well, but not as well as we would like. We hope that they will do better, but they have won some games. We hope they win more. Sports. I also got friends. Like, I don't know why my girl, like, I don't know why our girl, when that's just them being obsessed with us when we not around, for her to tell you about me and me about you. You know, there's no need, you know, like, we could just watch the game, you know, together without it being something, being weird or anything. You know? Do you want to watch the game though? Because I think it'd be a good one if you want to. Yeah, no, I'd love to watch the game. I'd love to. This is nice, dog. This is nice. Oh. Because it doesn't have to be this way. Your friendships are incredibly important, and I think seeking them out is a very important business to make in life. Seeking out good friendships, seeking out people that make you a better person. It will make you richer than anything you could have ever imagined, because friends take care of you. There are times where you don't know what's going to happen to you, and there are people who you didn't need to call, you didn't need to ask, they just show up because they care about you. Those things are incredibly important, and a lot of men feel like they're missing in their lives, and is once again wild because there are a lot of men. I feel like we could get to the bottom of it pretty quickly. Just looking around, you know? Because a lot of what makes that loneliness is a cycle. It's a hamster wheel of somewhat our own making. You know, you're on this thing because you don't feel loved and you don't feel lovable. And when you don't feel loved and you don't feel lovable, you usually don't behave in a way that makes you more lovable to people. You usually don't open up. And so you're acting in a way that becomes more antisocial. It pushes more people away. So the people that you would have got just by happenstance, they get pushed away. And then there are actively people in your life that you try to be close to. You push them away as well. And then by the fact that you push so many people away, it reconfirms to you the thing that you told yourself about yourself. And so you just stay on that wheel. And it is simple to get off. It's not easy, but it's simple. You just step off of the wheel and you walk up to a guy that you respect and you say, I like your jeans. Like, it's cool. They're really cool. Like, you're like cool. And one of the reasons that is simple but not easy, one of the reasons it's scary to do is because there seems to be such a lack of accepting that thing, of accepting that love, of accepting someone wanting to be there for you, take care of you and everything. It's very hard to get in. And look, once you're there, you're there. Once you're there, you know, I know a lot of loyal men, and you'll have a friend for life, but there's some walls, you know. Like, one thing that I've seen is a rabbit hole that I've fallen down that I enjoy very much is this trend of men calling to wish their friends good night. And it encapsulates everything that I'm saying. It's one of the most fascinating things to watch. Basically, if you haven't seen this yet, people are recording, usually the girlfriend or wife is recording their husband or boyfriend calling his friends to say goodnight. That's it. That's literally it, and it's one of the most fascinating things you can watch, because there are as many reactions as there are like faces on a diamond. Like you cannot predict what's going to happen, and you will be surprised every single time. Because it'll call, and one of those calls, they answer, "Hey, what's up?" "Nothing. What's up with you, man?" "Oh, not much. You know, I was just calling, about to go to bed and everything, so I just want to wish you good night." The first one I watched, I just want to call and wish you a good night, you know, just have a good night. And the guy was like, "What?" No, I was just saying, call and wish you good night. Like, you know, hope you have a good night too. Sleep tight, drink sweet dreams and everything. What? And this reaction comes because the last time that a man heard those words, he was a boy. And it was his parents. And that's if it ever happened. So a lot of men don't know how to handle it. It's literally like, yeah, I'm just saying, like, sleep tight, you know, night and everything. Huh? Not even kidding. In the call, what are you doing? Nothing. I'm just about to nod off and everything. So saying, have a good night. I'll see you when I see you. Like, I gotta go. Another one of my favorites. Another one that genuinely filled me with joy. This dude called and he was like, "Hey man, how you doing?" "I'm good. How you doing?" Yeah, no, I'm good, man. I'm just about to nod off and everything. So I'm, just wanted to wish you good night. Say sleep tight, sweet dreams and everything. Dude on the phone went, "What? Night? What you mean good night?" You would not believe how many men said, "What do you mean good night?" What do you mean good night? And he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm just about to go to bed, sweet dreams and everything." And he's like, "Yo, you good? Are you good? Dog, for real, are you good?" And for the rest of the phone call, he could not convince his friend he wasn't kidnapped. It's like, "Yeah, dog, no, I'm good, I'm chilling. I'm just, about to nod off. We haven't talked in a while, so I want to say night, wish you sweet dreams and everything." And he's like, oh, they got you? Ooh, okay. Let me know where you at. Where you at? No, I'm at home. I'm just saying, like, sweet dreams and everything. Like, I hope you sleep well, like, sleep tight and everything. Like, "I won't let you die, dog. Where you at?" "No, I'm right now. Just send me the address. Like, put in code or something. Like." Totally different call. This dude called. Wish this dude good night. He was like, "Hey, I just want to say good night. Sleep dreams. Hope you, have a good night and everything." And the dude said, "Huh?" "Yeah, just good night. Hope you have a good night." Yo, what you mean good night?" It's like, "I'm just saying good, like, have a good night, like, sleep well." He's like, "Yeah, whoa, why you calling me telling me that? Like, you call me like I'm like a side chick or something. What you doing?" I was like, "No, dog, I just wanted to wish you, a good night. Hope you sleep well, sleep tight and everything." Hey, I really feel like you're being disrespectful right now. And one of the reasons I feel like this is such a phenomenon is because I'm not saying that women even do this all the time, but the way that women are friends with each other has a lot more of these little things in it. It's the little checkups. It's the little, like, how you doing, how you been. It's the little chats that is usually missing in male friendships, which makes a lot of men not really know where they stand with other men. Like, you'll be friends with somebody. You'll be considered a friend by somebody, but you won't be sure. You'll be like, "No, I like him. And we hang out once in a while, but, like, he's like my other friend's brother. So if you ask him, I guess he'd say we're friends, but it's also cool if he doesn't. Like, I don't care. I ain't care. I'm not pressed about that. Like, maybe we friends, maybe we not. I don't know. It's cool either way. If you want to be enemies, we could do that too." Because that's the thing. Is just how we show love is very specific. Like, I've watched my girlfriend tell her girlfriends, "Love you," easily. Not another thought. Love you is bye. Love you middle conversation. Whatever, right? And as men, we rarely say, I love you to other men, especially that we're not related to. And I think it's because, to me, it's just a different style of love. Because a lot of men will not say, I love you to their other friends, to other men. They won't say, I love you. They say it in a different way, because what we value as men is the sort of like loyalty or ride or die level of commitment that we have to each other that stays unspoken. Sometimes you don't even know somebody has it for you until you're in trouble. So as men, we don't really say, I love you to each other like that. You know a man loves you when he says, dog, I'd die for you. Because we really just sort of keep it in life and death. Outside looking in, I'm not saying I know, I'm just saying from what I watch, it seems like women are very excited to give and receive love from each other. And as men, we're very excited to die. Oh, we would love to die together. That'd be preferable. Just let's die together. Yeah, no, we'll ride out right now, dog. You know? And that's what I saw in that phone call when that dude called his friend. That dude loved him, convinced he was kidnapped. I was like, where you at? Let me know right now. Because so much of it is like about being hard, I suppose. Like as a man, you want to be not just respected, you want to be admired, you want to be hard, and it seems like being hard is the way to get those two things. It was this dude called his buddy, said sweet dreams. He's like, what you mean sweet dreams? What you mean sweet dreams? No, I'm just saying sweet dreams. No, what you mean sweet dreams? I don't have sweet dreams. All right, it's nightmares every day around here. Nobody worried about some sweet dream. What you dreaming about? Shoot, I dream about work. Maybe my favorite one, we're talking like top. One of my favorite ones is this dude calls. Hey, what's up, dog? Oh, I'm good. What's up with you? Nothing. I just wanted to call, say good night, sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite you. Just wanted to wish you a good night, man. He was like, how you know I got bed bugs, dog? Like, I didn't tell anybody about that. What's wrong with you? Why you... Don't be telling people my business, for real. We're talking like top 2-3 videos of the trend. It was this one dude calls his buddy up, and he's already giggling because he knows how his friend's gonna react. Because that's the thing, is that it's so funny how weird people react, because you can tell from the way they pick up the phone that they're close. Who they chose to call for a reason. And half of them, when they pick up, they're being silly anyway, Hey, what's up? If that's how you answer, you can't freak out when someone says good night. Male friendships are so important because at least for the guys that I know, they're some of the only friendships that tether you. They tether you to a way of seeing the world that is unconditional of other things. I'm not saying that when you have female friends or when you're alone, you can't get to the same place you can get with male friends. I just think it's very different. is very different. Like if you went to one of your female friends after a breakup and, you know, you're telling her what happened, maybe she'll see your perspective, but she probably wasn't gonna do the same thing as you were gonna do. Whereas if you go to a guy after a breakup and you tell him what happened, one of two things is either gonna happen. He's either gonna see completely your perspective, maybe he'll pump you up, maybe he'll tell you you were wrong, but he's gonna see it exactly the way that you see it. Or he's gonna be like, dang, I was about to do that same thing. That's good to know. Like I was about to ruin my whole life. Oh, thank God you did it before me. Okay. Oh, that's good to know. All right. No. Because I want that for the men that I see suffering from loneliness. I want them to have friends. Friends would fix the loneliness, and it would heal a big part of this thing that we see en masse from men. When you see a bunch of like angry men, some people are like, all these angry dudes just need a girlfriend. All these like incels just need to get laid. It's like, no, they need friends. like friends. Friends would fix things way more than I think we realize, because sometimes those dudes get a girlfriend. I know it doesn't seem likely, but it's true. No, fundamentally, I'm being serious, it's true. Sometimes the most like weird, nasty posting incel will actually get a girlfriend. And it doesn't necessarily heal everything, because now in their mind they're like, okay, this woman likes me. This woman doesn't think that I'm ugly. But all of these preconceived notions they have about women still remain. Whereas when you have friends, I'm not saying it makes you a wholly better person. It depends on the friends that you keep. You can measure parts of a man by the company that he keeps. But at the same time, when you have a bunch of friends around you, well-rounded friends that can hear what you're saying or can understand where you're coming from and can help guide you down a better path, that makes it better for everyone. You know, some of my best friends have shown me things about myself I wouldn't have caught otherwise. And it's not as if you even need that many. I don't even know if men could handle a lot of friends. We're not good at maintaining relationships in the same way. So 5 is probably enough. Honestly, 5, that 5th one, you're gonna forget his name once in a while. 5 is a lot. A lot of men have 1. And once again, it falls into the categories I was talking about before. They have one truly close friend, one truly close male friend, and they either have just known him a long time, or it's their brother, or they went to war together. Yeah? But they have one. So when he dies, that's it. Because you're also his only one. I hope that we can get men to prank each other to the point of good mental health. I hope that it would be so dope if the next level of the prank is just like, hey everybody, I'm gonna go to my buddy's dad's funeral to support him. Let's see what he does. He's there at the funeral. He's like, how you feel, man? How are you doing? His friend's like, how am I doing? What you mean how I'm doing? What you mean how you trying to get knocked out? What you mean how I'm doing? Huh? What you mean how I'm doing? What do you mean how I'm doing? What do you mean? And then he cries on his shoulder, and that's the cry on the shoulder challenge. Like, you just have to ask how a man is doing over and over until he answers. And then he really needed that. It's really important, so have a moment together. Just see dudes like, next trend, It's just. Next trend is just like, you know, like the kitchen challenge where you just like go over to your boy's place and just check his kitchen. Like, is it insane? Is it disgusting? Are there other things living there? No. I'd love to see, and you know, we as a society will hopefully be around much longer. One day TikTok's gonna be pretty old. I wanna see a TikTok challenge where it's just dudes calling each other out of nowhere, being like, hey, make sure you get your prostate checked, all right? We all 50 and up right now, like, no, look, I'm gonna call him, tell him to check his prostate, see how he react, right? And it's like, all right, yeah, because you know we both 55, so it's like that time, you know, you gotta keep up with your health and everything. He freaking out, he's like, why you worried about my prostate, dog? Like, it's something I hope continues, because I think it's nice. Out of all of like the TikTok trends and YouTube pranks, this is like one that I think is genuinely good. Because you'll see these compilations of them, and then every once in a while you'll get one. This dude called his friend. He was like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? I'm all right. I was just calling, you know, wish you good night and everything." And his friend was like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, no, I was just thinking about you, so I want to say good night, sleep tight. You know what I mean? Have sweet dreams and everything." And his buddy was like, "Oh, thank you, man. Nah, I appreciate you, man. You have sweet dreams too, dog." No, that's special.
Hey, brother, I was just calling to say goodnight and hope you sleep well, have sweet dreams and everything. And life is hard, I know, but you always keep your head up. You always make it to the next day. That's all we can do. And I just hope you know that there are people who really do love you, care about you, are thinking about you. And I hope tomorrow's better than today was. Also, I don't want this to disturb your sleep or anything, but they did get me, by the way, the ops. So I don't let it disturb your sleep tonight, but like if there's something you could do, like if you could get over here. I don't know if they want money. I honestly, I am frightened, but you know, I'm gonna keep my head up the way you keep your head up, brother, and you know, we gonna get through it. But anyway, sleep tight, sweet dreams. Night night.